Hey, I'm the Dr. Bob Lee and for Rena Valentine. Hello, welcome back, everybody. Welcome to Open. Our next guest are entrepreneurs and authors of Just Dance with Me. That's just dance with me. Can I get this dance? It's a guide to helping couples considering marriage avoid the penalties. I'm going to say penalties too, the pitfalls, and learn from our examples to maneuver out of madness to experience love, bliss, and a lifetime of happiness. And here to share more of the Just Dance with Me, we got the authors right here, Leon and Carita Montgomery. Welcome, 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 welcome to the show.
Thank
Thank you. Thank
you.
you for
Thank
having us.
you.
How are you? Now, how did you come up with the Just Dance with Me? Because I used to use that line. Can I have this dance? Just dance with me.
I can tell you how we came up with it. So it actually was in the middle of the pandemic.
Uh huh.
And I was not working from home, but my husband was.
Uh huh.
He and the kids, of course, were sanctioned to the house because of pandemic, but I was running a hotel.
You was
So
running it.
I didn't have the ability to work from home. But what my husband did is he created this little phenomenon for the family called the backyard party.
Ah,
So
and they
he,
came out with a song with that. Who did that? The Isley, Ronald Isley did that with I can't remember, but he's on that record right there. The backyard party.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Had a backyard party set up every Friday for he and I. And what we discovered was is that we had not spent a lot of time together, dancing,
Yeah.
talking, communicating, all that good stuff.
Uh
And
huh.
we decided at that time we were like, what if we wrote a book that just kind of talked about our experiences leading up to the pandemic and how we could share that book with couples and help to save marriages
Yeah.
as the pandemic saved ours. Um, Most marriages were they were challenged due to the pandemic. Once the couples had to stay home under the same roof
Yeah.
day in and day out, they found out they didn't like each other. It was the
Yeah.
exact opposite for us. We actually got to know each other better and
Uh,
decided that that time together was strengthening our marriage and making us the better couple. And the book was birthed out of that time.
and so, Leon, did you go up to your wife and say, "Look, with all this mess going on, come here, baby, just dance with me"? How did it
Yes,
happen?
I actually did. She was coming home a little stressed, maybe a little
Uh huh.
depressed because she had to go into the office every day. And, I had the speaker in the backyard. I had the barbecue grill going and I had the music up loud. I would hug her when she
Backyard
come back
party.
and we
All
just
right now.
danced.
Backyard
And
party. I
we,
don't know how the rest of the song goes, but I know the song. But go ahead.
yeah, so we just danced and talked and just had a great time
Uh,
getting to know each other. It seemed like all over again.
yeah, yeah. And you know what? That's what it takes. You have to make things brand new all over again.
Hmm.
Continue to create that new beginning. You know.
Yes,
Yes.
So,
exactly, exactly.
what's some of some tips and advice that you give to people who are maybe things are kind of stale right about now? How do you spark things up just a little bit?
So for us, we created or we started implementing date night into our
Date night.
marriage.
Ah,
So date night is on the calendar. It is not optional. It's mandatory. But we started making every Friday
ah.
date night. And my husband actually picked the spots. He would say, "Hey, when you get off, meet me here." And it was a spontaneous thing that we kind of started, but then it just kept going. And
Yeah.
even to this day, we do Friday night date night because you have to make
Once a
time for each
week.
other.
Once a
Yes,
week.
Yeah.
But you got some
yes,
couples that want to eat out every day
Yeah.
because they're not cooking in the house. So, every day, let's go out to eat. Then what's the special date then? If we're going out to eat
right.
every day.
You do it every day. It's
Now
not
we ain't got
special.
no
You're
money. We can't create a special date. No money. Go ahead.
but yeah, so he started and originally I was like, because I wasn't the go out type,
Uh,
but he would pick places that were that I would like, places that had live music,
ah,
live jazz, places that were laid back. He had gotten into cigars. I had never ever smoked a cigar ever in my life, and he was like, "Just come with me to a cigar lounge." And it was such a laid back environment. We enjoyed it. We had a great time. There were lots of couples there. So he was doing experiences that he knew that I would be happy in.
Yeah.
I don't really like the crowded club scene, things like that. I really don't enjoy.
Yeah. So Leon, you love those places where they got the different types of cigars, right?
Correct.
I used to go to one until in this particular place, they didn't have the air working. And everybody's getting their flavor, their different, but everything was jammed up all in one. You couldn't even taste the flavor of your cigar. And they had food there, so the food was tasting like smoke too. I went up to the radio station, and I think Lenny Green was on there. He comes on before me with The Quiet Storm. And I went up there and said, "Yo, man, where you been?" I said, "I just came from a cigar spot." He said, "I know, you smell like a chimney, man." I was kicking. That was all in my head. But but some of those spots are really good. Some of those spots. That's a good place, Leon. Go ahead, Leon. And what's your favorite place to eat?
I like seafood, so anything shellfish. My wife and I, we go to our favorite spot called Spondibits here in Atlanta. It's near the airport, and so
okay.
It's one of our favorite places that we like to go every now and then. It ain't every Friday we'll go there, but just some, I try to switch it up, something new, a place where they may serve great wine, great steak dinner or something like that, just to switch it.
That's beautiful. So when I come out to Atlanta, I'm going to give you guys a call and say, "Hey, man, I'm in Atlanta. My friends up there at the V103, and let's go to that place. Let's go to that place over there that you were talking about. Where's that seafood joint?" But anyway, tell me more about this fantastic book that you guys put out to help others get what they need out of life as far as marriage tips.
Yeah. One of my chapters in particular that to me was a big deal was the chapter on head of household. So we had a dynamic in our household where I made more money.
Yeah.
And so I thought that making more money made me in charge of the decision making.
Uh-huh.
So I would make decisions and exclude him. I would make decisions without talking to him. And some of them were big decisions. Some of them were small decisions. But I thought that the amount of money I made gave me the justification to do that. And, it was a mistake on my end.
It was a mistake,
we both
right?
came from single parent homes.
Yeah.
Neither one of us had an example of what a marriage looks like, what cooperation in a marriage looks like. But I learned very quickly that was not the way it should have been designed. Yeah. We are a team, and I should have been discussing those decisions with him and valuing his input. But that came later on in the marriage. That came with maturity. That came with, making some bad, stupid decisions on my own. And he's saying, "Well, you didn't ask my input." And I began to understand that he brought a lot to the table, and I should submit to him. And together we come up with some of those decisions together. So that to me was one of the chapters that was very eye-opening to me. And you can talk about your chapter that was really, big to you, baby.
Before you get into your chapter, Leon, did that bother you that she was making more? Because some people say, "Hey, this is going into the family. I don't care. You can make more. Do your thing. We're putting this money together, and we're going to do some things with this." But as far as making those decisions, you needed to come together. So you made the correction on that, right?
Yes, I corrected it. I definitely corrected. And I don't think it bothered him. It was just me believing that I had leverage. You know what I mean? And this is a couple. This is us together. And it was just me making poor decisions where that came into play.
I get it. So, Leon, what's your favorite chapter?
Well, one of the hardest chapters for me was to write was the separation. There were times that, we were separated. We and I have not always been the perfect couple. We had some trials and tribulations early off in years in our marriage, and they just boiled down to, things that like didn't know how to communicate or compromise,
right?
And our discussions and stuff like that. So there was a time where I was separated, and I never saw myself not being with my wife or my children. Being away from my family really, tore me up, and it made me look at myself individually and things that I know I needed to work on, to be able to gain my family back.
Beautiful. So you guys come together and you put this book together. and not on, it's therapeutic for yourselves too, as well as being able to help others, and it's a win-win for everybody.
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. When we did the book signing, we did like a Q&A,
Uh-huh.
and it was very interesting the amount of couples to say, you know what, we want more. Like, can y'all go into more detail? We are intrigued with your answers. And a lot of the women really love the fact that my husband admitted some of his faults and how he never, ever, ever in this whole marriage ever said the D word, divorce. I threw it around a lot, and I believe it was a manipulation, but
Yeah.
he never said it. And he always said, no matter what, I am going to keep this family together.
Oh, God
And
bless
there
you
were
guys.
so many
Yeah.
people that resonated with that, to say that, for him to stand up and say, I'm going to admit my faults. I'm going to admit the part that I did in this marriage. And at the end, we're going to stick it out. We're going to stay together.
Leon
And
said, we ain't going down that road. We ain't singing that song. She used to be
Yeah,
my girl. She's my girl, and I'm keeping her.
yeah, divorce was never an option.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. So, what are some tips, some marriage tips to couples looking to get married?
For me, I would say these chapters that we outlined, you definitely should discuss before marriage. You should discuss finances.
Yeah.
You should discuss disciplining the children. You should discuss, where you all are going to worship. You should discuss, we talked about, if you do get to the point where you need to separate, or you need to kind of cool down, that divorce is not an option. Say if it ever gets to that point and we need to just cool off, clear our heads, we do that, but divorce is not an option. Set some ground rules ahead of time and discuss these things ahead of time.
Where can we go for more information on all the wonderful things that you guys are doing?
JustDanceWithMe.com. You can see articles that have been written on us. You can see how to get the book. We have an incredible package out. It's called the Just Dance With Me bundle package, where you get books, t-shirts, and we put our playlist together. Our favorite songs that couples can actually download our playlist, so they can dance together in the backyard and become close and reignite their marriages just like we did.
Carita and Leon Montgomery, thank you for all that you guys are doing.
Thank you so much.
All right. And we'll see you again. All right, we'll take a break. I've got more open coming up next. Keep it right here.